Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another week of Cheaper Than Therapy Show podcast. I am your host, Roland Kirsten, aka Ro Nice. I know I've been kind of hit and miss with doing the podcast over the last couple of weeks. I'm working on some things, going through some things to get back on full track with doing this. Not gonna hold my people today. Just a little bit of updates about what's going on in the world, and things that I got going on. So I want to start with talking about the other week was Carver's Bay's homecoming, and I happened to go, and I ain't been, Carver's Bay is a mixture of Pleasant Hill High School and Chapel High School. And Pleasant Hill High School officially closed down, if I'm not totally correct, in the year 2000. So it was kind of a mixed bag of a Pleasant Hill slash Chapel home slash Carver's Bay homecoming. So you're talking about almost 24, 25 years of the last time that Pleasant Hill High School ever existed in this world. So I was home in Hemingway for that and got to see a ton of my classmates, older classmates, younger classmates. And that was a good feeling to see people I haven't seen, and I'll probably say a multiple decades. So it was a good time of catching up, seeing where everybody's at in life, where everybody's doing their thing. Some people I recognize, some people I didn't, but that's how things go when you're talking about not seeing some people for 20 plus years. But it was definitely good to see everybody, family, friends. Got to enjoy the night. I was in there in an official business capacity, but it did allow me to take advantage of some personal meet and greets and seeing people I haven't seen in a long time. And that brings me to what we go through in life. It changes over so many years, and you never know what people go through, and you never know what changes they may make. And it was a great feeling, but at the same time, life has to change, people have to change, circumstances have to change, scenarios and scenery has to change. Um and as a father, I know everything is changing, and as a person, I know everything is changing. But it was great to know that even though sometimes things change, things sometimes can remain the same, good, bad, and indifferent. But it was a great time, seeing everybody. Um, so that was a little bit background on that, and I'll see how I feel about intertwining in that maybe again next year. But it is what it is. I'll see how that goes, and maybe next time I'll entertain and partake in all of it. The football game, the tailgates, the festivities. Unfortunately, I had to work the first half of the day, so I did miss out on a lot. And there's a small chance that I may take a video camera and film, just whatever's happening at the time. Um, Other things going on, we're going into November, and we are in an election year. So November 5th, people, we got to decide whether we going with Kamala or Trump. And at this juncture, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be a G-stat. People may say what they got to say about me or feel what they got to say. But this probably be the first year ever since I was eligible to vote that I may not vote. It's just, I'm just not, I don't know what we're getting into, good, bad, and indifferent with either one of the candidates. I can say, when Trump was president last time, the dollar did flow a little bit better. People were working, people were making a little bit money, but that's because he's a businessman and he tended to run the country like a business. Now, where like he was the CEO and he made all the decisions. Now that may be good or bad, but you know, at the end of the day, this is about a lot more than just money. And a lot of things are going on in this country with um, reproductive rights. I don't know too much about this project 2025 to even speak on it, so I'm gonna do some more research on it. And but you know, at the end of the day, we are ready to come to the terms that the presidential election is not about popular vote. What it was designed for. It's about electoral college. It's about money. It's about lobbyists and PACs and who can spend the most money to get what they want out politicians. And as we know, with Kamala, like, I mean, her track record being a district attorney of California, being the talk show host Montel Williams jump off from back in the day before she became who she became. And now she's married to some dude that she doesn't even use his last name as part of her campaigning, which that tells me all I need to know about what she's about, what she's trying to achieve. I felt it very distasteful having Megan Thee Stallion at the DNC and having her perform. Like, we have to learn to separate things sometime, you know, when it comes to politicians. I understand we're trying to attract voters and trying to connect with our constituents, but that is a bit much, in my opinion. So honestly, when it comes to the presidential election, there's a strong chance I may not vote. I could change my mind, but you know, we got two candidates, and now we're choosing between the lesser of two evils, in my opinion. And I'm not sure if any one of them have any really real agenda to help everyday people, if I want to say it that way. Um, you know, I've had some things and change and thought process change on President Obama over the years after I found out and did research and found out certain things, but I digress on that. I'm not going to dig too deep into that. But I know we are coming up on a turning point in this country as as a real estate agent. No one is addressing the interest rates. No one is addressing the private companies purchasing up all the single family homes for rent and making the rental rates astronomically enormous at certain parts of the country. And no one's really actually talking about those type things, the rising cost of food, gas, cars, all the products and services that we need to function in this country are increasingly rising in price, and no one is really addressing that. No one is attacking, you know, student loan debt that is crippling millions of Americans every day. Now, people say, well, you shouldn't have borrowed that money to go to school, whatever, whatever. But not everybody is fortunate to have parents to pay for school, or, you know, had fortunate to get whether it be athletic or academic scholarships. And we were always taught that college and school was the key to unlocking the American dream. And now you see that has starting to go in reverse, where certain employers are rescinding the requirement for bachelor's degree or degrees in general. But people have spent thousands of dollars. People have gotten to thousands of dollars worth of debt trying to achieve that American dream, trying to get that education that we were told so for so long that was important and vital to our success as Americans. And now that seems to be changing. But now, as that change, people are in enormous amounts of debt that's crippling their lives, from purchasing homes, from their credit scores, to multiple things. Because, you know, somebody made a point that how do you give, you won't give an 18-year-old a business loan to start a business and become an entrepreneur, even whether it be 5, 10, 15, $20,000, but you're more comfortable giving them $50,000 to get an education for a job they may not get to be able to pay back that loan. To me, that kind of seems backwards, but it is what it is. It's what we dealt with for years, so now that has to come back full. Now that's starting to come back full circle around to those people that took out student loans but don't make enough on their jobs to pay them things back. So no one's really attacking that issue. President Joe Biden was supposed to have this big reform, but that got attacked and that got pushed back and that got canceled. Um, and we can send money to other countries. We can give trillions to bail out other countries and trillions to bail out companies, but we won't give trillions of dollars to help bail out the American people. They already pretty much said that to the money that it would cost to wipe out everyone's student loan debt would be less than what we spent on the last Gulf War by multiple times. And you have to really think like, well, don't you think that helping those people get out of debt can boost the economy here in America and make people more productive in society, maybe be able to purchase homes, be able to get loans to open businesses to create opportunities for other Americans? That's just my thought process on that, and that's just my 2 cents on that. But I think that has to be something that really explored, because when people, it is not just every day you talking about doctors. Yeah, people say, well, doctors make hundreds of $1,000s a year, but you also have to think about your $200,000 in student loan debt and you make $100,000 a year. $200,000 in debt, a student loan debt, that's a current interest that's been deferred probably for 20 years. That's probably crippling to them, even though they make a ton of money. And as a real estate agent, I done seen doctors and lawyers, people with PhDs, can't afford to buy houses, can't afford to get financing for homes because of their student loan debt has thrown off their debt to income ratio so terribly that they can't function. So they're renters, which is nothing wrong with renting, but now in this day and age with the big companies buying up all the new construction homes, the big companies buying up all the single family homes that are on the market just for to rent them out, and they're turning them into rental communities, but they're charging astronomical rent and requiring people to earn 3 times the rent. Now, when you talking 3 times the cost of rent, so in retrospect and to kind of break it down to base numbers, if you want a house and the rent is $1,000 a month, you got to make $3,000 a month, which is roughly, $36,000 a year. But let's be real. Where the poverty line is based on tax code, $36,000 is just a few $1,000s above what they consider the poverty line. So how do you ever imagine someone making $36,000 a year able to afford rent? So it's kind of one of those things that these politicians definitely should be attacking, and should be attacking at a high level, because it's what keeps this world and this economy going. So with the presidential election coming up, and probably, let's just pretty much say a week and a half on November 5th. What are we doing? How do we vote? If we vote, when and we are voting for 2 candidates without really making demands. I've heard that Dr. Cornel West is on the ballot as well. Doesn't mean he's gonna win. It just means he wants you to know that there's another candidate to vote for than just the 2 that we're used to, without really expecting them to do anything. And the whole point of that is, okay, if we start taking away their votes, will they start to listen and start doing what's necessary for the constituents and the people of this country? There's a lot that goes along in with that. So, I mean, there's a lot going on coming up, and in America and the presidential election, and I want to shift into something a little bit lighter real quick. Like I said, I'm not keeping you today. So I would say within the last few weeks, we had some history happen in the NBA. LeBron James got to play the first ever father and son NBA game. And what I'm seeing on social media, and no, I always say social media ain't necessarily real, but you got some people with some real venomous takes on something that we as parents, regardless of what field and what job we're looking at, who wouldn't want the thrill of their child taking over the family business or the family legacy? The child might not be necessarily interested, but we as parents, we go through this life to make sure that that's an option for our children. And this man has been able to have the opportunity to play in the NBA long enough to play with his son. And the hate is, oh, well, it's nepotism. We all live in this country based off nepotism. If we were able to get, we all want, if we had the strings to pull to get our kids in the best schools, and if we had the strings to pull to get our kids the best jobs, we would do it in a heartbeat. And people say, well, no, my kid got to learn on the skin of their own back. Let's be real. We would all pull triggers, not saying our children are not talented, not saying our children are not able to do the job. It's just we will all pull strings to get our children into a better place, or open a door that may not necessarily always be open to them just off the strength of their skill and the strength of their knowledge. Because we know every day in this country, not always being the smartest, the most knowledgeable, or having the best resume or the best assets always get you that position or in that situation that you might deserve to be in. Because, being from the South, being in the South, I hear a ton when it comes to jobs. It's not what you know, sometimes it's who you know. You might know that foreman, you might know that supervisor. Your family may be family friends with the owner, whatever that situation may be, but it definitely can open a door. We all done got friends' jobs on the strength of we cool with the supervisor, or we cool with the owner, we cool with one of the managers. If we really feel like that's not what we've done before, then we're lying to ourselves. And I know for myself, if I had, if I was, let's say my son came to me and said, hey, Dad, I wanted to sell real estate, or I wanted to be a car salesman, I wanted to do whatever. But I know I'm sitting here working at the Bentley dealership and my son ain't got no sales experience. But I'm like, hey, if I can go to the owner, like, hey, my son want a job here. He want to sell Bentleys with me. And the owner was like, well, can you sell? I'm like, well, maybe he can, but can you give him a shot on the strength of me? And he does. I mean, we all go through that. We all want our kids not necessarily always to follow in our footsteps, but if we can open a door for our children and make their lives a little bit easier and their circumstances a little bit easier, who's not going to pull that off? So the hate that this man is getting, saying his son doesn't deserve it, his son knows how to play basketball. His son's been playing around and with NBA players since he's been a kid. So he knows how to play. And everybody's like, well, he should have stayed in college. I mean, or he doesn't have the skills. We have to understand that boy at 18 years old had a heart attack on the court, almost died. So we could look at some of his play and some of his concerned is what if he's afraid of going so hard he might drop dead on the court again. We don't know what's in his mind, but we always want to be so negative and judgmental. That man is that young kid is probably better than 90% of the average Joe Schmoes that play ball on the regular courts of this country every day. But because of the hate that's for his father, we hate on him. People say, well, he didn't deserve to be there. He was the last pick in the draft. I mean, we don't expect much from the last pick in the draft or the 55th pick, one of the last picks in the draft. We don't expect a lot. So why are we expecting so much? Because it's LeBron James' father. Maybe he's not ready to fill them shoes. Michael Jordan is arguably the greatest player ever. His kids wasn't necessarily, the best players in basketball, but you think Michael Jordan didn't pull strings to get them into certain colleges, or they didn't get him scholarships off the strength of them being Michael Jordan's kids and not necessarily how good they were on the basketball court? Of course. I mean, it happens. It's what we want. It's what we strive for as parents. So we need to sit back and appreciate history being made, knowing that if we were in those shoes, it's not necessarily nepotism, because at the end of the day, that boy has been playing basketball since he's been a kid. He may not be the greatest player, but hey, he may turn into something. He may not be his father, but he may be better than what we think he's going to be because of what he went through. So, that's my take on that. We also dealing with in this country as black people, the whole Puff Daddy situation that is still ongoing. I mean, that's a whole legal hotbed of mess that I don't know if I ever want to touch on, because he's no different than certain other people of other skin complexion that have done the same thing, and some of the charges that he's up on don't even make sense. But they won't attack certain people for doing the same thing, if not worse. But it's when you go back to this possibility that he's being attacked by this large liquor company called Diageo because he won a lawsuit against them where they got to pay him $1 billion, and now in some morality clause within the settlement, they may not have to pay him. That's on some suckerness, and you already know the powers that be are playing that game with people's lives and freedom, because they can, and who's going to stop them? They can make up laws and rules at their convenience just to get what they want. So I don't know how much deep I ever dig with that over the upcoming episodes on the P. Diddy thing. The next thing, like I said, sports and entertainment related. We got the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series. We got plenty of NFL, plenty of college football playoffs. There's so much going on, good, bad, and indifferent. I'm still gonna have my relationship topics that's coming. I just want to know. I'm thinking about honing on a topic and maybe having someone in house. My co-host Jordan, he's got his own thing going on, so I'm not 100% sure if he's gonna come back. It's just we all got our own things going on. It's nothing going on, nothing negative. That man has a life of his own, and schedules are conflicting. So maybe if I'm able to change the date that I broadcast or shoot, then maybe that'll change the thing. I'm thinking into guest hosts and maybe doing interviews if I can, with different people in different genres and different things. It's just like I said, it's tricky because I do this out my home, and that means I gotta allow sometimes strangers into my place of zen, my place of peace, and that's something I really have to think about before I take it there. I just thinking about, everybody as people as a whole. Like I said, the homecoming taught me that, life is short. People lost their lives that weekend. Um, we've been losing plenty of people. Rest in peace, James Earl Jones, John Amos, several celebrities, and it's not just celebrities. I mean, I know regular people every day lose their lives, but I just necessarily may not know them personally, even though I don't know the celebrities personally. But I just don't want to shout out somebody's name that I don't know them or the family at all, outside of you know just reading something in the paper. But when you're talking about celebrities, everybody knows a particular separate celebrity. So talking about them in their untimely passing doesn't doesn't violate or step on anybody's toes or make anyone feel uncomfortable. But we have lost some greats over the last couple of months and this year included. So, as things go on, I'm talking about that, talk about the state of our kids and schools and what's going on with them. Like I noticed these kids are totally different than what we grew up on. They're different. You got the Rich Homie Quan situation is changing. You got the Little Dirt, which I don't listen to their music, but they're blasted everywhere on social media, their situation. So maybe someone wants to comment or talk about it, and I may go down that road. I'm still talk some comedic stuff, whatever I find to be funny. Like I said, I'm getting back into this, getting back into the swing of it. It's just gonna take time. So I'm just going into this year. There's definitely possibly gonna be some major changes in my life this year. So I'm just waiting to see before I make certain announcements on here. I gotta get some solid answers about certain things before I make big announcements. But I am back. I'm gonna try to get back to at least once a week. There is a chance that I may change the day even before I have the ability to go live, because I know on doing this on Sunday like I do, I'm competing with the NFL. If I do it on Saturday, I'm competing with college football and trying to get people off those TVs to watch my YouTube channel might be difficult. But again, the good thing is my episodes are up. You can watch them anytime. You can subscribe. You can comment. I reply back to comments. You can email me. The email is cheaperthantherapyshow@gmail.com. You can text me on the phone number. It's 803-543-5233. You can text comments. You can text suggestions. I'm telling you, people, like, give me your suggestions. Give me your businesses. Shout out to Shakita Weaver for her Captured Creations 360 booth, and she also has her online boutique in Florence. It is called Zyke's Boutique Styles. That's Jordan's wife. Like I said, I'm trying to give shout out to small business, black business owners. Man, we gotta support, because that's the only way we're gonna grow. So with all me and my rambling being said, I want to thank everybody that has tuned in, and people continue to share, listen, like, send comments. If you want to talk about something, I'll talk about it. Like I said, I'm definitely gonna do probably a good episode on the election coming up. I just want to sit down and drill into the candidates. I haven't been doing that, but somebody gave me that suggestion about talking about the election, the candidates, and should we vote for Kamala because she's an African American woman, like kind of how we did Barack Obama, without really knowing what she's going to provide for us as black people, what she's going to do for us as black people, when, as you know, it's not much. I don't think it's much. And You see the ads about her being supportive of using tax dollars to allow inmates to do sex changes. I don't know how true that is. I've seen that, but generally, if that's the case, wow, wow, wow. But I want to thank everybody that's going to tune in and watch. Please go ahead and subscribe and share, like, comment, send all your feedback again. The email is cheaperthantherapyshow@gmail.com. You can email me. You can text me 803-543-5233 for anything when it comes to related to the podcast. Now, again, I'm still a licensed real estate agent. Interest rates are dropping. So if you have any questions about purchasing your home, selling your home, or investing in real estate, that is going to be a totally different phone number. That's 803-306-4004. So I'm about to go sit down and watch some football today. My Cowboys do play the 49ers. I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm not a delusional Cowboys fan, so nobody really has to worry about me talking that craziness because half the time we suck. My Miami Hurricanes beat Florida State yesterday. Hopefully we get into the college football play at all. And if the U could come back and win a national championship, that'd be all right. I see Oklahoma and Texas have got their initiation to the SEC and got their butts whipped. They find out that Big 12 was the Big 12, but that SEC is something else. So I want to thank everybody again. Tune in, please subscribe to my YouTube page, Cheaper Than Therapy Show at Gmail. I am on YouTube, I'm on Rumble, I'm on Spotify, and I also have my Facebook page. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. You guys enjoy your Sunday and have a wonderful day and stay out of trouble.